Hi, I'm Richa. I'm a certified meditation and yoga teacher and the founder of Shanti Path. And welcome to video 2 of our 4-part series on how to prepare to sit for meditation. Today we're going to be talking about 6 yogic principles or preparations that we can take to create the optimal environment for our meditation practice. They're actually very accessible. You can find them in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras as well as the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So the first one that we're going to be talking about is that before we sit for meditation, we want to see if we can face east when we're meditating. Because when we meditate on the principle that we're going from darkness to light. And because the sun rises in the east, we want to make sure that we're facing east. If our home doesn't allow us to face east, maybe because of the structure or the room that we're meditating in, then the next best direction would be north. The second principle that we want to keep in mind is that there are 4 optimal times for meditation. Right before sunrise or while the sun is rising, 12 noon, and then evening time as the sun is setting, and then 12 midnight. Now, these times are optimal for a reason, and that's because we want to meditate during the transitioning of the day, so from day to night and then night back to morning or daytime. And in terms of meditating in the morning or at midnight, that's when we can concentrate the most because there aren't as many physical distractions, and especially in the morning, that's when our mind is the most calm. We're able to concentrate and focus more. We are not distracted by any sounds coming from the outside. So those are sort of some of the times that we want to keep in mind for our meditation practice. What's most important is that no matter when we meditate, what time we choose to meditate, we want to be consistent. So even if you're meditating at 2 p.m., let's say, you want to try to keep that practice going on a daily basis. So you want to meditate every day at 2 p.m. These optimal times are something that, again, you can see maybe work on as you work on your own meditation practice. Then the third thing that we want to keep in mind is what we sit on. The yogis found that sitting on silk or wool or animal skin, particularly leopard, tiger, or deer skin, was more optimal in our meditation practice because when we meditate, we're creating positive vibrations and energy in our body, and we don't want it to be grounded. So when we sit on silk or wool or animal skin, it helps us to keep that energy inside of our body. Historically or typically, you would, if you see pictures of yogis, maybe you'll see that they're sort of sitting on 3 layers. So the first layer would be like a straw mat, and then the second layer on top of that would be silk or wool, and then on top of that there would be animal skin, like I was saying, particularly tiger, leopard, or deer skin. So as you can see, I'm sitting on deer skin today. This is what it would look like if you were to find something similar. Then again, it helps us to keep that energy inside of ourselves, because the whole point of meditation, again, is to try to go inward and to cultivate that calmness. And so we want to keep that energy inside of our bodies. The last 3 sort of principles or elements that we want to keep in mind have to do with our physical environment. And just like we talked about in part 1 of this series, we want to sit comfortably so that we can minimize distractions. We don't want our attention to go to any aches or pains in our body. Similarly, we want to minimize the distractions that are coming from our physical environment. So the 4th element is we want to meditate in a place where there's moderate temperatures. So not too hot, not too cold. When we sit for longer periods of time, we'll find that our body becomes cooler. So keeping that in mind, we want to meditate in a space that will not distract us because we might be feeling too hot or too cold. The 5th element, or the 5th principle, is that we want to meditate in a serene and calm environment. So I think this is kind of an obvious one. We want to, again, meditate in a place that's going to help us to elevate our consciousness. We want to go deeper into ourselves. And so, if you have an altar, you can add natural elements to it. You can light a candle or incense, and this will help to bring that calmness into ourselves to help us feel more of that peace. And then the last principle is we don't want to meditate in a space that has a lot of negativity. So again, going back to being in a serene and calm environment, we don't want too many loud noises or yelling or screaming, loud music playing. We want some place that's quiet, that's going to help us to go inward and go deeper. So I look forward to coming back and talking to you in part 3 of this series about how to sit for meditation. In the meanwhile, if you'd like, I invite you to check out my website at www.theshantipath.org, and I'll see you in part 3 of our video series. Thank you.